I'm going to bring up an issue in context in Thai business and overall culture that I found through a single experience on my last day of my Maymester in Thailand, and how that connected culturally to the United States. So it all started with this image. Well, if you saw that image, you might see like kind of some trivialities, some lady kind of like looking at me like I was stupid, or like I was out of place, or like I was doing something wrong. But I think there was something more than that, and there was. And here's what happened. So it was the last day I was in Thailand, and I was kind of plagued because I had so much baht to spend. And so I thought in my brain, what's the smartest thing I can do? I'm going to make my parents and family happy. I'm going to go to the 7-Eleven, and I'm going to spend all the rest of my baht on snacks and goods to make my family happy, so I can bring it back and so I can have some yummy snacks on the plane. And so I'm buying these things, and I'm piling them, and I bring it to her, and I put it on the counter, and she's ringing it up. While she's doing it, I take the picture, obviously, and she keeps kind of just like looking up at me, looking up at me, looking up at me. And I keep wondering, okay, maybe I said something wrong, maybe I wasn't supposed to say hello, maybe she's just not used to a 6'2" white guy with poofy hair ordering bundles of snacks from her. And she just kind of like points, like, and is kind of like sets in her stance and kind of like looks in the corner. She goes like, grab one. And then just kind of shelves up. And I think that was her attempted some English to convolute some sentences together, but I was like, okay. And so I grab it, and I come back, and she was like, okay, this is good. And then scans it and gives it to me, and then just kind of waves. And then I just kind of laugh it off. And then the other friend, who's a man, just kind of comes over to me feebly and goes, there's a discount, it's 2 for 1 on Haribo gummy bears. And so what I didn't know is she was trying all these minutes of me scanning and just her kind of like looking up at me, that there was a sale going on, and she was afraid to mention to me a sale on an item. And she was so scared that she just had the nerve, as I was about to finish paying up, to just kind of like point. And that moment might seem a little kind of over specific to mention the greater topic, but I think it's a great transition, funny enough, on my last day in Thailand when I was thinking of a cultural event to do a creative project on it, saving face. Now, what is saving face? You've kind of heard this save face. I don't know, the common Christian saying like turn the other cheek. There's some symbolism in that. But there's this cultural swaying in Thai business, in kind of this flow of events where if you screw up, if you're a lesser in the corporate world, or in just society, when you screw up or make a mistake or do something wrong, or you think something's wrong, but you have to climb up the hierarchical chain to get to something, you can't make yourself look embarrassed. You can't make your name carries your family, and you can't screw up or you can't insult that, or else that brings shame to your, not only you, but your entire family and your relatives. And in that moment, when I was so wrong, she was just trying to communicate that there was a sale going on. I was kind of like laughing, I was joking at her, I was bumbling, I was putting snacks where they weren't supposed to be, trying to look for it. I was wrong in so many ways, and yet she had the timidness and the overall kind of fear of speaking up because of this saving face. And I just want to compare that to America contextually. So I actually went to a 7-Eleven right when I got back to fuel up for my road trip back to my home in Virginia. And I had a 2-minute conversation over a bag of hot fries and a Dr. Pepper. Just about my day, about how I'm doing, about the current events, the weather, what's going on in Virginia, the United States. He joked about Thailand. And in that conversation, I just realized the straight lapse of personability and the straight just flip-floppiness of that interaction between a 7-Eleven. It's the same corporation in Thailand, in America, and yet I had such a different dynamic of conversation. To bring it outside of Thailand, I'm in the Naval Reserve Officer Training Corps at South Carolina, and I have a commanding officer who's a captain in the Navy, and he's in charge of over 120 kids, all of us training to become future naval officers. And he came up to me and talked to me about Luka Doncic getting traded to the Lakers for 3 minutes after exercising with him, and overall how my day is going in his fraternity life in South Carolina. Like, what a crazy sequence of events, to where on the opposite end of the world in Thailand, a janitor isn't even waving and saying good morning to their boss, and yet I just had a 5-minute conversation with a commanding officer in the military. So why is there a purpose in saving face, and how do we kind of see the dissidence of that in America? So the dissidence, I think, in this saving face and just preserving yourself is what I see in America based on like these interactions. And the more I have these interactions with sales clerks, with fast food workers, with anybody of like kind of starting level jobs or kind of lower paying jobs, they don't treat me with respect. Like in a McDonald's in Thailand, I had my food given to me properly. I was greeted well. I had employees checking on me while I was eating. And in America, I was missing like 2 nuggets and I got screamed and cussed at. And so I think the greater dichotomy here is these people in Thailand, people are afraid to dishonor their families and dishonor their lineage or seem wrong or be bad at their job. But because of that, they get really good at what they do, and they get very great at what their jobs are and how to do them well. So I would go to all these services. There was no tipping. There was no extracurriculars. They would do what they had to do, and they were so nice and kind and respectful and always asked what I wanted. Versus America, you're seeing these companies say the customer's always right, and the customer's always right, and I'm not treated like I'm right, because we slowly started to see like coffee places, fast food places, Shake Shack, just for example, like a fast food place, are asking for tips. And these businesses are starting to ask more and more. And I think the ending conclusion I got to was that in midst of saving face, there was a humbleness and a meekness in the Thai culture of, I'm going to be good at what I do, and I'm going to bring honor to my family, and I'm going to bring an honest wage home. But in America, there's always a more. There's always a greater ladder to climb. There's a river to swim up. Like, for example, my grandparents escaped communism from Russia and were poor. And now 3 generations later, me and my brother are in college, and my family owns a property in a home, and they have a lawn, and we have pets. And I think America pitches this constant betterment and a constant rising of the ladder, that people are always wanting more. And as Americans, I think we're a little emotionally puffed up and insatiable in our certain social class, and we have this greed because of our immense wealth as a nation and our idea and ability that it's possible to climb up more, that we're going to want more. And you see that obviously, like I said, with the tip, but kind of just this ungrateful attitude. We always want bigger, better things, but in Thailand, sometimes the bigger, better things aren't there structurally. Infrastructure, service, level of living, but the service and honest work from the people is so much better, is because they're grounded in their social class. And they're grounded in, I'm going to do well at this to bring back an honest living. And I think as an American, that was so hard for me to grasp. And it all kind of started with that little interaction of, well, why do I want more? Why are we so greedy? Versus a people that have, in Bangkok, one of the most technologically fascinating cities I've ever been to, are so kind and meek and afraid to ask things. And that's why I think as Americans, we need to check ourselves. And I know I'm kind of caught up in the identity of it, but I think that's the overall creativeness that hopefully that Darla Moore is offering with these international activities, is we can go to these foreign lands, Spain, we can go to Indonesia, we can go to Thailand, and we can take these innately good things of humbleness and meekness and bring it to the American world. Like what I was talking about, these areas of greed. I can learn and be culturally invested in that, and overall, as I climb the business ladder in America, I can take this trait of being honest and grounded in myself and overall change American business for the better and be a more faithful and responsible steward of American business. And hopefully I'll have a greater impact. And that was all because of my one experience at a 7-Eleven at 3 p.m. in Bangkok.